Eff It. We'll do it no, we don't. We'll do it on video because I'm not going to start streaming every single moment of my life 24/7. So hold your horses, hold your horses. Hello. And yes, you read correctly. V-days are back. Yesterday I was uploading the yesterday's video, and when I was filling out all the info for it, the name and date of filming and everything like that, it just kind of hit me. So like, let's do it. I've been thinking about starting a regular vlog during the last, I don't know, few weeks, maybe few months even. But I haven't had a reason to do that. But then it kind of just came. So okay, why not? I also really don't have a reason why not to. So let's go. Let's go. And then now when I remember, Skaz, about your recent comment about insanity. Sometimes it's good to take a stroll onto the other side just to get a reminder of how things could be. But you have to remember to go back after you've done your observing or whatever. And insanity and madness in general are, and this is my personal opinion, they are distorted humanity. So those people have their jigsaw, mental jigsaw has kind of dunk. And we are all, every single day, balancing on that line. And it's very delicate. And sometimes you're here, some days you're there, and changes from minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. But most of us can balance things out. Like, we're here, we can go there, but we can go there, but there. Because if you go completely onto the other side, into the full-blown madness or insanity, that's one thing. But if you go onto the other side completely, then you're living in a fantasy world of another kind. I mean, madness, insanity is one form of fantasy world, and usually it's kind of frightening. What comes to, for example, paranoid schizophrenia, those people are afraid about things that doesn't exist. But if you go on to the other side completely, then you're in a state where there's nothing wrong. There's nothing that can threaten you, and everything's going your way. And this is what I mean when I'm saying that you have to be able to balance things out. And what comes to that entertainer video I made, everything I said in that video was true, but the tone of that video, let's say that it was my take on dark humor with tongue firmly into the cheek. So, and it was kind of that thing. Well, it was extremely, when I looked at it, for me it looked like something that let's say someone in his early 20s or late teens could do, something like kind of an arty thing. Although that's not kind of obvious, but still, for me it looked like a bad psychological test project. But it had a message, and that was the important part. But everything I said was true. I didn't make things up just to muff up with people's heads. It wasn't that, but it was about reaction. So I just got back home. Yesterday was a nice day. I went out to buy those cables, or to get those 2 cables. When I got back home, my wife was awake. And when will you be going to Tokmanni? I just got back from there. Oh, I need this, this, and this. So today when I got up, back. And some people are not going to appreciate what I did. My wife needed a weak week supply of a 0.5 liter containers for meals, and I bought every single that sized container they had. There were only 7, so if someone's looking for those today, they're not going to find them. I was playing, trying to come up with new riffs, new melodies, and obviously always recording. And I still have those old strings on my guitar, but on that guitar. So I'm getting lazy. One of the things I'm glad, kinda, is that I was born in the late 70s. So 80s kid, 90s teenager, 2000s grown up. So I've seen and heard the progression in music business during that time. And that's the reason why I am so goddamn disappointed what comes to current state of music industry in general, but let's not go into that. So when I was a teenager, I was a big fan of music that's now called alternative. So Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Blind Melon, No Rain is actually still one of my all-time favorites. Bush, Silverchair, Smashing Pumpkins, Live. I don't even remember if I said it already, but you got the idea. List goes on and on and on. I remember some people saying back then that they like the music but they hate the lyrics because they're pure nonsense. And I remember thinking already back then, they don't get it. They don't get it. Because if you take an old school folk song, they usually tell a story that has, you know, the beginning, mid part, end. So it's logical. If you take an alternative song lyric, it doesn't seem to be logical, but that's the thing. It's not about telling stories. It's about trying to create separate strong images. If a folk song is a movie that follows the arc of drama from the beginning till the end, alternative lyrics are kind of a short films or vlogs in Adderall. It's like take a pile of footage, video footage, and clips that has nothing to do with one another. Then put all of those into a video editor timeline. Use a lot of fast jump cuts and render it out. That's pretty much the visual version of those lyrics. Because if you think about it, for example, No More Maybes, Baby's Got Rabies, Sitting on a Ball in the Middle of the Andes, Freak by Silverchair, or The World is a Vampire Sent to Drain, Bullet with Butterfly Wings, Smashing Pumpkins. Both of those lines are kind of, huh? But it's not about what is being said. It's about how it's being said. And that's why it sometimes sounds like complete nonsense. But it's about creating separate images. It's not about telling a story. Because it's just what I said. It's random clips with fast jump cuts. And you just have to kind of follow through it. Although it's kind of strange. Well, my wife asked me a few days ago when, well, I mentioned Ramones and the beginnings of punk rock. She asked if the Ramones was the first punk band. Well, that's something we can debate over. Because let's take metal music, for example. This kind of a proto-metal already existed in the 60s. No, Blue Cheer and all those bands, Jimi Hendrix. But it was kind of a crystallized by Black Sabbath and perfected by Judas Priest. Well, let's take punk rock. There was kind of a proto-punk already because of the American garage bands. That was kind of a bit out of tune, short songs, straight to the point. And obviously there was this one person I don't remember, name here, she and her band. That was also kind of a proto-punk, but it kind of crystallized with the Ramones and then turned political with Sex Pistols. But it's always fun when people are saying that punk rock is a British thing. No, when punk rock reached UK, it got political, but it was born in America, New York being exact, where it kind of crystallized. And those are the things that you can always debate over. Who was the first? What was the first actual this? What was the first that? And one of the things that I once tried to search what is people's opinion about who's the fastest guitar player in the world. But I found by scrolling different comment sections that there are actually those players or those bedroom guitarists who are taking technique over musicianship, if you see what I mean. So he who's the fastest or she who's the fastest is the best. No, that person's just fast. But it takes a lot more than just pure speed to be a good musician. For example, it takes a taste. Let's put it this way, it takes taste. You have to be able to create nuances. It's not about shredding. Because if someone is a fast shredder, it just tells that that person has actually took the time to practice. But it takes a bit more to be a good musician. You also have to be able to listen and react. And songwriting, you have to be kind of familiar with that. And that's the problem with some instrumental albums I've heard by guitar players. There aren't songs. There are, few riffs and a lot of fast playing, but there is no arc of any kind. And one example of a good instrumental album, in my opinion, is Steve Vai album. I think it was called Passion and Warfare. I may be wrong terribly, but I put it down into the description if I'm wrong. That's a good album in the sense that there are structured songs. There's a structure. It's not just play a riff for a while, start the lead part, and 4 minutes later let's play the first riff again. And that's a song. No. And by the way, the answer to the question, why am I a lot in this room? Or in this bedroom? Why am I filming a lot? Or why are a lot of the clips from this room? That's because this is, during the daytime, this is my area. So I can just close the door and do my own things without disturbing others. So that's why I seem to be constantly here. This is a quiet working space because I don't really have an efficient place to play, sing and do all this kind of stuff. And video editing and stuff like that I can do with the headphones, but using an acoustic guitar, it can get kind of noisy, especially when you're trying to find melodies. At times it sounds like a strangled pig trying to find the right keys and the right notes. So that's why it's good that I have some space that's isolated from the rest of our home. But anyways, that's about it. It's now 6:30 p.m. But I don't think there are going to be anything worth filming today anymore. So let's end this here. See ya!